So yeah, it's 6 a.m. already, 6 p.m. sorry, here in Paris. So time to begin. So as usual, welcome everybody. First, feel free to present yourself in the chat and your proficiency with WeWeb, and use the question and answer panel to ask your questions so that we can get them in the order. And that what we'll do is that if the question requires it, we'll invite you to come up on stage, on scene, and then we'll answer your question, hopefully. Otherwise, we'll try to answer them later on the community if we can't find the solution right now. Okay, let me just invite Flo one more time. Yep. Hey.
Hey, hello everyone.
So normally it's time. I see we have many people already. So as I said, don't hesitate to ask a question in the question and answer tab. Bertrand has done it already. And Bertrand has a question already about timestamps and databases without and with the time zones. So it's pretty technical, and I think it's pretty backend related. So we'll invite you on scene, but not sure will they be able to answer this, Bertrand, because this is mostly a Supabase question. But let's check.
A little bit slow, my video. Doesn't want to start. Hello.
Hey.
Anyway, it
Hi,
doesn't work. Can't switch on the video.
No worries.
I don't know why. I will try. Technical problems are always difficult to resolve. No, I cannot. Oh, I cannot start this video camera. Okay, no matter. I can present you my screen.
Yeah.
This time I use the screen, the main screen. So you will be able to see what I'm talking about. Okay, I've got Supabase, and for clarification, I just have two fields here, a timestamp in milliseconds and a timestamp ZTZ time zone with time zone. And you see the data which is inserted if I type now. Okay, here, if I choose a date here, let's say this one. Well, here's the time in milliseconds, and now I want to save, and this saves correctly in the database, but this one doesn't do anything, or it does not work.
Okay, can you show us?
The format which is expected is this one, but WeWeb creates this format, which I cannot send to Supabase. And last time you said, oh, I can use this milliseconds, but I cannot convert the milliseconds back to the normal time and date and time.
Okay, can you show us the workflow?
I show you the workflow. Let's say for this one, I use a workflow. This one, and I have this formula to timestamp. This is correct, but I can't use it.
Okay, just to understand, so in your Supabase, I guess you wish to use the this format, right?
Yeah.
This one. Okay. Did you try to use the format date formula instead of to
Wait a minute.
timestamp?
Wait a minute. This
This
second
is what you-
button.
Okay.
This second button. I think this one. Should insert the value in the date picker.
So this is not totally the same one.
It's
Can you give us the Supabase format? Yes, in here time step
well, I've got
TZ, yes.
these two.
It's
Data
okay.
type.
This is this data type. Okay.
I think it's format date should do it now. Because
You mean here?
I mean, having a format date from the date plugin, pretty sure there's a function to format the date, and then you give it the string, like how you want to display year, month, you know, time zone, seconds, milliseconds. So you have to format the date using one of these functions.
You think this is possible because after the time zone is let's say a shift from UTC, and how can I know how much? For instance, if I'm in America, this is another value here. It's not 1 hour, but let's say
because
5
normally
hours.
in your database you only store UTC.
Yes,
that's why.
exactly. But I maybe it's your dbeaver that is showing on this format. Oh, okay. Let's try to see what Supabase will answer. Can you just wrap your date into a format date formula just to make sure that we have a date? No, keep that.
Yeah. Okay, but I can insert it later.
Okay.
It's easier. I know. You mean I choose format date?
Yes.
And then
of
course I can.
Maybe just maybe
yeah,
just
but I
one,
don't have to.
one, not format date, sorry, just the dates ISO formula.
Okay,
Just to
wait a minute. Date ISO.
Yeah. Let's try this one. Yes, the third one. The third, 2 days.
Yeah, this one.
Let's try this one.
Okay, I just delete
you can
all
just
these.
you can remove the parentheses.
Yeah.
Also.
Okay. Again. Again. I don't see the cursor. Okay. Here.
And the first one. Yes, perfect. Okay, so
but you see it's different.
Can you just test to see what Supabase will say? I just want to see the result.
Okay, I will. Timestamp. Oh, succeeded.
Okay.
It looks good.
Yeah, it works.
How it's possible?
Because it's the same. It's the same date internally normally.
Refresh.
Work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It did what I want.
Perfect.
Yeah, because basically it's dbeaver that's showcasing the dates like this, but it's a timestamp like with a time zone also in WeWeb. So internally it's the same thing. Okay, that's great. And just the second question, precision of decimal fields. What does it mean, this here you see precision. Is it meaning the number of decimals after the decimal point? Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Okay, so I'm done. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No worries.
Great day. Bye-bye.
Oh, I stay with you, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so we don't have any other questions right now. Feel free to ask them. In the chat, we have Paz asking, how do we get one of those sweatshirts like Flo? So actually, we need to redo some, and it's Raf or CEO that's sending them. So, but I think we have to do new ones because we don't have any. So we'll do some in the following months, and we'll keep you updated. But yeah. Okay, Guillaume, any updates on easily uploading files to a backend like Supabase without resorting to JS? Yeah, we have the action now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Not for Supabase.
Oh, no, not for Supabase. Sorry, yeah.
But I can do with you on many things. So many things are coming for Supabase. Release will be a big release. So we are going to be on the last SDK. So you're gonna have a lot more options for inserting, updating, upsearching, deleting actions. So you're gonna be able to add filters, to add modifiers. So basically everything that the idea is to give you all that the JavaScript SDK can provide. So this is for the classic actions. And just after that, we are going to also release all the actions to manage files, basically. So to upload files, to generate private URLs, so we can have private files too with your bucket. So also to manipulate images, they also have some actions for that. So basically many things that you're going to be able to do with this. And the last thing is more also authentications actions. So a big release is coming for Supabase. I hope that we are going to be able to release everything in December, but for sure we are going to release the first bundle of the update I just talked about in the coming weeks. So really it's for really it's coming soon.
Nice. Okay, other questions? Because I see that we have many people today.
Yeah, don't be shy.
But we don't have any questions. First time we don't have that many questions. Wow.
Yeah, it's true.
WeWeb is too easy to use now.
You can also step in and just show what you built, and we can give you advice, or if you want some ideas to build other stuff, we can also do that.
Guillaume, also it seems you guys get a lot of Supabase related questions. Might be good to ask them to do office hours instead. I think they do. I'm not sure. But yeah.
They have a nice Discord where you can ask many questions in there if you need. But yeah, well, we could do also some live with them one day, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's scheduled, but not before next year.
Yeah.
And when we'll basically what Flo said, we'll handle the V2 of the SDK, then we'll be able to do stuff with them, of course. But yeah, I think they've got office hours, but yeah, they have a Discord and they're pretty active on Reddit too, because they're really developer oriented. So yeah, they do this kind of asynchronous things. Not sure they do office hours though.
I don't know. Yeah, office hours.
I know that Xano does. It's actually just after hours, which is really funny. But yeah. Okay. No more questions? It will be pretty short this time. Come on. I mean, if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll leave it at that, maybe. Flo can maybe tell you again, because I know that last time I was asked about many things like reusable component, marketplace, and all these things. So maybe Flo can re-explain when it's coming.
Yeah, sure.
But,
So right now we are, as you know, working on two main things. So a revamp of the design systems that we are going to call libraries. So basically every project will have its own library, and you're going to be able to share that library to any other project in your workspace. In that library, you're going to have typographies, colors, spacings coming. So you're going to have token for also managing your margins and paddings and reduce those kind of things. And of course, after that, but at the same time, basically, because we are going to release both of those features at the same time, the components. So you're going to be able to turn any element in here, live with some elements inside into a component. And in that component, you're going to be able to create internal variables, internal workflows, and expose what we call some props. You know, when you drag and drop an element, you've got an option on the right, and you're going to be able to create your own ones. So this will allow you to create your own abstractions. And then when you drag and drop those elements, it's like when you play with multi-page sections. So it's going to be the same instance on your application. So when you make a change on your components, you're going to see the change everywhere in your application where you use that component. Let me give you an example. So for example, you've got a button, and in this button, you turn it into a component, and you add some logic, and you add a prop just to manage the text inside the button. So you create a prop, you say, okay, you bind the text of your button to that prop, then you save your components. And when you use it, you will only have on the right panel just a simple input that you can bind, and it will be only for the text. You're gonna drag and drop this everywhere in your application. And if one day you need to change, well, you can do this with a class. It's a simple example, but let's say the color, the border areas, or a specific logic for this one. You do the change, and it will be changed everywhere in your application. So this is for your project. And so it will be in the library. If you share that library, the nice thing is that when you will be able to publish a new version of your library. So you're going to create a new version of it. And all the projects that are using that library will have a notification saying that you've got a new version, and you're going to be able to decide if you wish for that project to use the last version of that library and to use the new logic or the new version of the components of the classes and so on. So you're going to be able to do breaking changes and take your time to make the change in your project. Or of course, if you didn't break anything, just update it and access the new components, the new version of those components. And so you're going to be able to manage in a better way everything that you can industrialize, basically. And of course, so this is hopefully for December. So we are making our best to release this in December. And once it's released, we are going to work on the marketplace. So the goal is to release the marketplace by the end of January. So you're going to have some time to build your libraries, your hits with classes, components, and so on. And then you're going to be able to share that into that marketplace to anyone for free or for a price. It's going to be your call. So we are working on this. Supabase, as I said just before, big release for Supabase. And also, I think you are going to release that in January too. So the Figma plugin will be released. So you're going to be able to import colors and typography into your Supabase project, and also import some elements.
WeWeb project.
WeWeb project. So you're going to be able to import Figma colors and typography into your WeWeb projects. And if you use auto layout or some best practices into Figma, you're going to be able also to import some elements, some sections into your projects too with this plugin. So this is for the last features, and the focus after that will be on the developer experience. So you can have a better experience when you code your own components, and after that to be able to code also your own plugins. So so this is going to be that focus, and the other one, another part of the team will work on mobile feature. To be specific on PWA feature, we want to support anything with the PWA. So you can use notification, biometric, Bluetooth, basically everything that you can have and play with PWA. And so I hope we're going to be able also to give you a way to ship those PWA as a mobile application into stores, into iOS stores and Play stores for Google. So this is what's in the roadmap for the big things in the roadmap.
That would be huge. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we will be able to release this on time. Okay, Dennis, if I turn real time on my tables in Supabase, does it mean I don't have to fetch my collection anymore? It doesn't look that it's working this way. I would like to know more about that if possible. I think, yes, it is. You don't need to fetch again. So that's weird if it's not like, but did you activate real time in WeWeb and in Supabase?
In Supabase too, yes.
Yeah, you need to activate it in Supabase options in your table. And then in the WeWeb plugin, you need to toggle it also, in the tables, like you've got real-time tables and you need to toggle it. And then you don't need to fetch anymore because we'll connect with WebSockets to Supabase. So WeWeb will listen to changes in Supabase.
Exactly.
But yeah, by default, it's deactivated in Supabase, I think.
Exactly. And this is often the thing we forget to also enable it in Supabase. We should add a sentence in the plugin to just remember that.
Or they should do office hours. I mean.
One thing to keep in mind, though, if you have a linked table with real time, I think it won't work. So it will work only on that table, not if you have linked things. So sometimes you still have to refetch some collections to make it work properly.
Yeah, like lookups, for example.
Yeah, exactly. But we are talking about also adding some triggers so you can listen to some table change and do the change yourself if you need to. So this is something we are going to explore, but not right now. Maybe in January.
Another question from Dennis. Also, I am wondering if it is possible to have a text input field that doesn't have a fixed width. It's not fixed, but I'm not sure what you mean, because if you get it into a div, or you can even change the width in the input. So maybe I'll invite you.
Yeah. Yeah,
so that we can check.
Can toggle it as auto and not as a fixed width. Maybe when you drag and drop it, we put a fixed width, maybe.
Or maybe it's in a div. I don't know.
Let me check quickly.
You're too shy. No, that's right. You're not obliged to set your webcam if you don't want to. Or we can try with Flow. I will look into it. Okay.
Okay, well, let me share my screen. I will try it. Just this is like this.
Because I know that I never had this issue, to be honest.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. So let me go there and there. Okay, so in here, what I can do is to drag and drop the text input then. Okay, and in here, so the width is auto, so I don't know why. In here, it will take all the width, so by default, but maybe you used another one. Maybe this one. Yeah, I think that you may have drag and drop this one, so this one's for width, and this one has a fixed width, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, you can toggle that to auto, and then it will take default width.
Or set a specific width, by the way, in pixels or percentage, yeah. But like most of the time, if you want to do a form and have multiple inputs, what we do is that you use several divs and you make them, like you use a flexbox basically to have them align, and don't bother with the width yourself. But yeah. Okay.
Let's wait for more questions. Otherwise,
I see that some people joined, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the question and answer panel.
Okay, but so meanwhile, I can tease you a bit. Let's do something like this.
And by the way, I'm thinking on Thursday, for those of you, all of you that will be available at 12 p.m. EST, I will be in a live with Alice that created a marketplace to match freelancers and startups called Hello Generalist, and she'll explain how she used WeWeb for everything because she's a former designer and developer in the Valley. So it will be really interesting to see why and how she used WeWeb. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be great for sure. Okay, so at least I can show you this. So one thing we are going to release too is libraries and components is a new navigation system. So you can see that the top bar is slightly different here. And you don't have any more data or collections here. It's going to be in here. So in here, you're going to have the layer like you have today, and also data. So in here, you're going to have your collections and your variables in here. And we are playing with also give you the possibility to only display variables and collection used into that page. So I know many of you ask for that. So we are working on it and trying it right now. And you're going to have also in here the global workflows and global formula. So it won't be anymore in here. In here, you're going to have the libraries I talked about to manage all your typographies, color spacings, the new one in here. So what is spacings is something like this. Folder, put it A8, and in here, if I just drag and drop something like a div, and I go to padding, you're gonna have new icons here, and you're gonna be able to use your token, so you won't have to type in anymore in here, and you can do, of course, this for anything here. So this is what I call spacing. So manage libraries, manage plugins, and then we put some things in here in more. So new navigation system coming also with this release. And if you need to see the logs, it's going to be this icon, but maybe it's a bit hidden. So we are still iterating on this. So at least you can tell us what you think about this new design, if it's going into the right direction for you. Hopefully, I hope. But this is another thing coming soon.
Normally it will help on small screens because I tried today because I know that it's taking, our current UX is taking, UI, sorry, is taking like a lot of space. But yeah, the main change is the data. I think people will be a bit lost at the beginning, but I think it's better like for organization.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you'll like it. Okay, no more questions? Ah, I thought so. Is there a way to bind variables to list items? I am working on a table where I have a field that relies on multiple preliminary calculation at the list item level. The variables that drive the calculation are different for every list item. Yeah, you can bind variables in. If you want the variable to be the same among like every item in the collection list, then you just have to bind to a variable. Otherwise, what I would do is that I would iterate over your collection do the computation and recreate a variable which is an array and maybe bind to this array with the value of the collection and the computed data. But maybe we'll invite you.
If you share your use case, yes, like it would be easier for us to help you to understand exactly what you need to build.
Hey, but
Hi, Derek.
hey, do you want to stay muted? Because it will be easier if you can explain to us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
Hey, I asked this question in the forum, and I didn't realize that you had replied to me. What the issue I'm having is, now I'm a prior Bubble developer and pretty proficient in Bubble. I'm moving over, and so learning some of the concepts in WeWeb. The issue I'm having is that I have a table that has a calculation in it that relies on a bunch of preliminary calculations. So this particular table has a field here, which is called cap rate, and it relies on some variables that I stored in another table.
Okay.
And there's a lot of preliminary calculations that have to happen in order to get to this final calculation. And what I've been doing in Bubble, we have to basically create invisible fields, or fields that are like 1 pixel by 1 pixel in size, and put the preliminary calculations in each of those fields, and then just reference those in the final calculation. Here in WeWeb, I'm not quite sure how to do it. I can do it in a formula field, but the preliminary calculations are fairly complex, and so it gets to where it's just completely difficult to make sense of what's going on when you have everything try to cram it into one formula field. I didn't know if there's a way to have some other formulas in the list item that are kind of pre-calculating those other values first, and then I can just reference those in my final calculation, because these are not values that are stored in a table. I'm calculating them on the fly. So
Okay.
I'm kind of stuck.
So you've got two ways. So first, for the not a number here, the NaN in here, can you
Yeah.
Yeah.
I undid my previous calculation that I had in here, so this is not the calculation that I need. But to give an example, that calculation will end up going right here. But the formula for cap rate, in my deal, relies on multiple other formulas that need to happen first. And so I'm not quite sure, because those formulas rely on numbers in the list itself. So the list, it relies on price, it relies on square footage, it relies on, and there's other formulas that have to be calculated first before I can get this one. So
got it. So so if you need to do all those calculations and indeed have a column based on the calculation of the previous column one, for example, indeed it can be a better way to manipulate the data before binding. So a common way would be to just trigger a workflow on page load. So, and then use the loop, so you would have your collection or your array of data, and then you would loop on it. And you would do all those manipulation in there. So basically to add new properties to your object item. And then you would just have to bind to it just once. Because in here, indeed, if you are using a formula in, for example, the list price, and then you need the result of that formula in another column, you would have to redo the formula. Or another way to do it, or maybe, an easier way to do it would be to use a global formula. So I can show you how. So
yeah, and I have some of those set up. I do have some formulas that I've built that I use, And that's what I was attempting to do, was to, because annual rent is one of the calculations I have to do in order to get cap rate. Also, to have to do net rent. There's a bunch more. So there's about 6 calculations I have to do in advance in order to get to this final number, but they all rely on data that's inside this list item. And so that's different. The calculation is different for every list item because it's pulling data. So I need to calculate these first and then use these in this one, but those calculations have to be done on the list item though.
Yeah, but that's not an issue, because when you're binding an item in a list, you're actually doing the formula only for this item.
So where would I reference that formula in the list item though? It seems like I need to have some place to put it.
No, you can use it here in the formula.
Bindings. Yeah.
You can use multiple formula in here. You can wrap them one in another, like in Excel.
So that's what I was attempting to do the first time around, and it got to be that this formula was so
complicated,
difficult to manage. Yeah, it was huge, it was gigantic, and I was trying to break it down into some more bite-sized pieces where I could make more sense and you maintain it a little easier, because this formula got to be so long and so difficult to make sense out of. It was hard to edit and update, and so I didn't know if there was a way to kind of have some hidden fields or something that would pre-calculate, those formulas, and I can just reference those. But it seems like those fields have to be visible in order for that value to calculate.
Yeah, you cannot do like in bubble in here, and basically I don't think it's a good practice. But what you could do, okay, so you have 2 ways. You can in your formula just toggle, instead of using formula, just go into JavaScript.
Yeah.
You can go into JavaScript.
I'm not good enough at JavaScript to.
You can just use a simple thing. You see in here you've got formula with the ID and what you type in before, but instead of return here, you can just type in const to create variables, to create some variables.
That's I misunderstood. I talked to somebody else in the forum. That's basically that you're starting out at the return level in JavaScript, so you can't establish variables in the formula in JavaScript in WeWeb. Is that right?
No, you can.
What? Yeah,
I can't create. Can I create variables up above this by
Yeah.
Instead of return here, just create replace return by const. Const first formula equal space. Yes, just const space, or you just keep that one. Just before that, add a name, the name you want. Just
right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And equal.
Oh, sorry.
No.
Equals. Yeah, not in.
Oh,
quotes,
equals,
sorry.
not in quotes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's us, the French accent,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit hard for me.
Sorry for that. And then below this, you can manipulate range now as a variable, and so you can do that for all the variable you need, and after you return it, you return what you need. So in here you can use any global formula. You can play with the Explorer.
Okay, so basically I would do another one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whoops. And then just do the same thing again. And at the very end,
you can even do rent times 12, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was under the impression that we could not set the variables in the JavaScript field.
No.
You can.
It's just that basically it's a JavaScript function, so you need to return something at the end, and when you return in JavaScript, it's the end of the instruction. So if you put anything after it, it won't be executed, but you can throw anything you want before.
So if I have some of these global formulas already built, can I reference these in that JavaScript field?
Yeah.
Let's try in the binding. Can you go back?
Yeah.
Here. And can you remove the first const? So it's perfect. And after that, create a new variable. Like here, after this formula, you can create a new variable.
Okay.
like you did, const annual rent.
Yeah.
And you type in then equal. And below in the tabs, you can select your formula. So if you go to the last tab, you can check in here, yes, and just click on it.
Oh, okay. So it'll plug in that.
Exactly.
And then I put in my parameters there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can do that, and if you need some comments in JavaScript, you can just add some comments with //
Yeah,
so,
like this, just to tell
yes,
me what's
Yeah.
happening.
So you can remember what it does.
Okay, well, yeah, this will definitely work. That way I can kind of separate all of those pre-calculations ahead of time and then just
Exactly.
add all those together and have it be in that one field.
Another way to do it is, like I said, on page load, you trigger a workflow, and then you use an action called loop, and you iterate with that loop. You add more property, calculated property, to another variable, and then you just have to bind once. But it's
you do kind of
But I wouldn't
you
need
do
to
kind
do
of a
that if I
compute.
did this, though, right?
Yeah, it's a nice way to do it, like you just did here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if the computation, though, are really big, what I would suggest as a best practice is actually do them on the backend. Because if that, like in Supabase or like Xano or whatever, but because
I thought about just storing the data in Supabase pre-calculated, and
like in your GET requests.
That was my backup plan. Yeah.
Oh, you don't necessarily need to save the pre-calculated data. You can create a view on Supabase if you are using.
Yeah, this actually is a view that I'm looking at here. This is actually a view from Supabase.
Okay, so another way is to more properties inside, but you can do it like this. It's as you like, basically. If you don't have performance issues, you can do it on the front end. It works well. And if one day you need better performances, it's better to do it on the back end to have in one request the data.
Yeah, I have a separate page where when you click on one of these line items, it opens up a page for them to do their own underwriting on properties, and so they're entering in values into fields. So it's calculating these on a separate page. I typically don't store them in the database until they choose to turn that into an offer. And so at that point, I will create a new record in Supabase that is an offer record that has those pre-calculated values stored. And so I wasn't really wanting to store all of these because a lot of these just get started, they're never used.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be an issue. It's only an issue if you're doing like huge computations, because keep in mind that everything you do here in WeWeb, it gets computed in the end user's browser. So
correct.
You don't have to plug the memory.
I am doing pagination where I'm only loading 25 rows at a time. So hopefully that's not too taxing on the browser.
No, I mean, computing rent should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For tables like this, no problem, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this definitely solves my problem.
Perfect.
Cool.
Great. Thanks again, guys.
You're welcome.
No worries.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
So let's invite Sandro, who have a question on query string in the editor versus in production. So I will promote you. Hey.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice to see you again. I have a quick question related to the query variable. We were actually just working on it and we haven't done it before, so I thought I'd just ask you. It might be an easy fix. I'm currently working on a password reset function and I'm gonna share my screen. One moment. Okay, I kinda can't give Zoom the access. Moment. Okay, I think I would have to restart Zoom. But so
you can quickly restart if you like.
Okay, I will quickly try to restart. 1 moment.
Mhm.
It'd be easier to see a screen.
Yeah. The magic of Zoom. Pretty surprised it hasn't updated for a long time for me. So I'm wondering when it will happen, because it's always when you need it that it's like updating.
The Morphilo, you know that one.
Okay, Sandro is back. Nice.
Okay, I think now it should work.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so I have a quite a basic password reset functionality I'm working on, and I'm sending this. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending this link back to via email to the user. Basically, it's that's what's the URL right now, and I was wondering how can I actually test this in the editor and not in production, because we're at the point right now where we cannot deploy because there's other things going on that are not fixed yet. But we I want to see if the query variables that I created, if I get the data loaded in there actually. Because let me actually go in here. The whole URL in the end will have some query string parameters like this reset token and the user ID, and I want to access that in WeWeb. And if I got it correctly, I can do that with these query variables.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if they just get the same name as the parameter in the URL,
Yeah,
it's then I can just it's like I have this stuff in here, the variables. This should work. So the question would be, could I actually test this out in the editor or like in dev mode basically and not in production? Because this is like working with the link.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I think you just need to add them at the end of the URL, no?
So I would give the editor URL in here if I would want to test this.
Put the editor URL here and it should work. But I think we have a documentation on this.
On Querystrings, yeah.
Yeah. No,
Let me
we
check.
have a password reset with Xano. Check.
It was in the CRM template with the SendGrid, their SendGrid plugin. So it was a bit specific.
And is it also related to the testing? Or is that question answered there?
Yeah, I haven't done that for a while, so let me just.
Yeah, I'm not sure because the CRM template was built a long time ago and even Xano changed since. And we are working on new templates. So I'm not sure. But normally the Querystrings should work as is in the editor.
Yes.
Okay.
So like you can even add them like in the editor, like on your page to try if they feel, for example, like let's go back to the editor.
I'm
yes.
not on fire.
And try adding question mark resets. I don't remember the name of your variable, but like reset token or something. Equals and type anything. Yeah. And if you type enter, yeah, you need to reload the page because the browser needs to read it. But if you go in the variables, then it should be filled.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you can definitely use the URL
works.
from the editor. Yeah, in Xano.
Okay. Then I could have just done that. But thank you anyway for letting me know. Okay. Yeah, that's actually all I had right now.
Cool. Hopefully it works. Nice.
Yeah.
Also,
All right.
we need a documentation. I can just send something, but perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Have a
Bye.
great
Bye-bye.
Okay. Any more questions? I see Mo is here, Dennis. Done, pass, direct. No more questions. Anyway, if that's enough, if that's all for you today, we'll see each other next week, same time, sorry, for another office hours. And don't forget that they are posted on YouTube on Wednesday. So tomorrow I will post the replay, basically, with the nice showcase of the new navbar. And yeah, what Paz is saying, thanks all. I will be spending the next week playing with the NPM plugin. Always impressed with what WeWeb offers. Thanks. That's really cool to hear. So yeah, see you in 1 week. And for those of you who want to join, see you on Thursday for the webinar with Elise from Hello Generalist. See you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.